Hello friends, my name is Vinod. Welcome to VR TechnoSoft. So in this video, we are going to discuss about how to debug a store process. So many of the people will struggle how we can able to go and debug a store process in real time world. So I can just show you some of the examples like how we can able to go step by step and we can able to debug and we can also rectify our errors. So let me show you. Let me open my SSMS and here I have some of the store processes which I have written. Let me open and one of the store processes here, and also I'll explain so how this what is exactly the functionality of a store process, and we'll go on debug what is the errors in it. So now if you see this procedure having an input parameter called as at the rate of category name, and they are also comment something here saying that so this parameter should allow more than one value. So it means so if you pass one category it should give the result set, and if you pass more than one category also your query your procedure should give result set for that. So that is what mean of this particular comment. Now when you go to below, here I have a select statement. So where it is joining many tables and also based upon the parameter value, so it is giving the result sets and all. Now let's say so here I'm joining some of the tables and we'll just explain what exactly it is. So I just took adventure works tables, so that is product category, subcategory, and also product like product table, and also some of the tables like product inventory table, location tables and all. So they like there are some relationship between all these tables. Let me explain one by one. So between category and subcategory, we have a category as a key column, and by using that, what I'm exactly retrieving is category name as well as subcategory name, and then I'm joining the next table called product with product subcategory, because the hierarchy will be like this always. Category is the parent, then subcategory is the child, and then subchild will be product. So that is how the hierarchy will be, so that we'll go and join the key columns based upon that. Now in the product table we have a subcategory as a foreign key, and I'm joining that, and based upon that I'm retrieving some of the columns here, that is product name. And then after we have something called product cost history table and product inventory as well as location. So all these tables are pointing to the product table, because all are the subchild or childs tables for the product table. Now for every table, so the key will be product id only. So what I will do is, so by joining product history table, so that too with product id, I am getting some of the columns like see start date, end date, and standard cost. So for an example, one particular product has more than one cost in particular years. That information we are storing in this product history table, and that I'm retrieving what is the start date and end date, then the standard cost and all. And then again I'm joining the product inventory table. So inventory is nothing but how much amount of the inventory is available in a particular shelf and all. So that thing will be stored in this table, and here again the key will be product key. Now by joining this, I'm just taking the product shelf details, which shelf how many quantity available, and also I'm just bringing the quantity as well. And finally I'm joining the location table. So now between the this product inventory table and the location table, now the joining key column is different, that is location id here. Now when I'm joining location, so I'm just bringing the location name as well in a particular location, and in each cell how many quantity is available. So this is what I'm just retrieving the data by joining all these tables. So just without where class, I'll just run and I'll show you what is the exact result set we'll be getting over here. So if you see, there are different kinds of categories, subcategories, and product names, and respective location names, and in a particular dates. So what is the cost here? Okay, and also what shelf here it is existing, and also here how much quantity is available over. So for some of the products or categories, so we don't have shelf, but some of the things has some shelves over here. If you see something like EAV, something like that, so we have some shelves. Okay, so this is what exactly. So by joining this all these tables, so I'm retrieving the information. And my provisor, what exactly it will do is, when I pass any category, it will give you that information. So if you see, there are almost like 4 categories. So category 1 is like accessories, then clothing, and third one will be like bikes, then components. Like that, there are totally 4 categories are there. So when the user or client is passing any category, it has to filter that information and give it to him. So that is what our requirement is. So it can be a single input value, or it can be a multiple values. That too, they have to pass multiple values by comma separated. So if you want, I just mention here multiple values with comma separated. Anything it can be. So the client has to, like, so it will be always like comma separated values only. So they have to mention something like this, only comma separated. So that is what the comment I have mentioned here. So let's see whether my procedure is working for all the categories whatever I'm passing or not. And also let me explain one more thing here. See, here I'm using a split function. So what exactly the split function is do is, so whenever you are passing single value or multiple values, so it will split into multiple rows, okay, and also that will be act like a subquery to filter the data. So let me show you that table valued function. It's a multi-statement table valued function. And let me show you what is the code we have written inside that. So this is what exactly present in this. So see, my function is expecting parameters like input string and what is the separator. So whatever the input value the client is passing to this category name, the exact thing you have to pass it for my input string. Also they have to tell what is the separator it is. So each value is separated by what. And the whole output, as it is a multi-statement table valued function, I'm storing my data in a table variable. That's why I'm returning the whole table information. So I'm just sending into the table variable with the column name, and also I have mentioned it as n varchar. Now here I have written some of the logic. So what exactly it will do is, it will go and fetch each and every value after before the comma, and it will try to insert into this table variable. Finally, that table variable information we are trying to return it. That is what this function will do. And whatever it has been written, it will get filtered over here in the where class, and then the filter. So based upon the filtration, the output will get displayed in the result set. So now we'll see how a store procedure will act by when I'm passing the values. So let's see. I'm just executing my store procedure by exec command, execute procedure name. Also, I'll put my parameter name along with any one parameter for an example. Let's see. Let me pass any category. For an example, bikes. Yes. So when I'm passing, so I'm not getting any results set. It is an empty result set. But let me check. Go and check whether at least we have a one category in a category table or not. So what you can do, simply you just take out this table, because the category will come from category table, right? First look into your first table whether it has a categories or not. So this is the first step which you need to do in your debug. So if you see, we have, yes, properly we have all the categories, but why it is not giving the result set? So maybe because of the chance. Yes, obviously it could be. So what we can do is, simply you can take out the whole statement without where clause, into, maybe in the same session I'll just take it. But as of now, I'll comment my execution statement. I don't want to execute again and again. So what you can do is, simply you can join table by table and see whether you are getting a proper result set or not. Let's see. Yes. So, and also, like whenever you are joining only two tables, your select query is expecting columns from other tables as well. But as we are joining only two tables, we won't get all these columns and all. So what we can simply do is, just for verification purpose, you can put star. Let's see at least we are getting some rows or not. And sometimes in the real time point of view, when people are working with multiple tables, maybe the table has huge amount of data, and when you are executing this only these two tables by joining, you have to wait maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depends on the data. in that particular table. So as it is just a verification, just go for just top 2 or top 10 records, so that our debug process will be very faster. So what you can do, simply just join two tables and see whether you are getting the result set or not. Yes, we are getting it. We are getting the bikes information here. Okay, so which means there won't be any problem with category and subcategory joining. Okay, so let me add another table. I'm taking the top 10 records, and we'll see whether we'll get some result set or not. So I did not select the on class here, that's why. Let me reselect it and execute. Yes, still you can see. So we have components, we have clothings, okay, we have accessories. Maybe in the top 10 that bikes were not there. Maybe I'll just increase to top 100, and I'll just see whether that records are coming or not. So yes, it is coming. Okay, so you have to increase this number, your top 10 or top 20, because maybe it will be there in any of the order. So that's why if the value is not there, you will just check it. So in the top, okay, by increase the number. So if it is not at all there, that point of time you can go for star. Okay, so when you do select top 10 or top 10 or top 100 and all, so that time if you get some results set regarding bikes, then it is fair enough. You can go and join other table. If you are not getting, then you have to search whole result set. Yeah, maybe because of joining it might fail. So now as I'm getting some result set in top 100, I'll just go and join another table, and we'll see whether we'll get bikes or not. So we'll see. Okay, still I am getting some bikes here, so which means there won't be any problem with the join. So let me add another table again, and we'll see if still the bikes are getting or not. Still I am getting bikes information, so there won't be any problem with this inventory table as well. Now if I join last table, so obviously yes, we have this bikes information. So which means my select query is giving bikes information. It can be 1 record, it can be 10 records, it can be 100 records, no problem. But at least it is giving some information related to bikes, because my input parameter, whatever I'm passing over here, is that is bikes. Correct? So there won't be any problem with my select query. So sometimes what will happen means, because of many reasons. So for an example, here I am joining with location ID. So this product table, this location table, I am joining with inventory. Maybe some developers by mistakenly they had put it as product table, product ID here. So now they're joining location ID with product ID. So maybe let me join and see whether we'll get some result set or not. So we are not getting any result set. So sometimes when you're using this store position in the report level, you will get empty result set because of the logic. This logic, the SQL Server cannot find it, because it's a user-defined system store position. The logic has written by us, the SQL Server cannot identify it. So what you can do, simply you can join table by table. So till here we'll get the result set. So like before the last table, we'll get the result set. But when I'm joining the last table, we'll be getting the empty result set now. So that time you need to understand that. Okay, so I'm not selecting the proper tables here. Let me select the whole syntax, or we can execute directly. So now when I'm joining the last table, that point of time, so we are encountering this issue that the empty result set. So which means you need to understand. So might be there won't be any data in the location table, or the joining is not proper. Maybe we are using different join, or else your joining condition is different. So these three things you need to note it down. Yes. So first thing, let me repeat this. The first thing is, maybe the table doesn't have the data related to this on condition, or the joining condition is not satisfying, or else your on condition columns, whatever you are keeping, that key column, it is not proper. So in our case, we are joining location ID with product ID. It's not a proper thing. So it should be location ID with location ID. So these kind of errors you might face. So that point of time you need to go and do the debugging by joining each and every table separately. So now in our case, we are getting the information, there won't be any problem. Then where is the problem exists? So maybe where class? Yes. So we'll see whether it will be a where class or not. We'll go and see. Yeah. So now what you can do is simply execute this store closure. Now also let me print this value, whether my category is coming properly or not. I'll also have a look here. So print this category, because sometimes what will happen, maybe some people has written some trim functions to trim this value and all. So I am just make sure that I'm getting the proper result set in my output, whatever I'm passing for input parameter. So let me execute my store procedure. So if you see here, it is giving proper value. So which means definitely there will be a problem with this where class. Yes. So just go and see what is as what exactly it has been written in this inside the store procedure. So inside the store procedure, if you see, they have written some select name from, as they have mentioned, dbo dot function. So it is a table valued function. Okay, and because it is retrieving the table information, and here we are passing a parameter value. So there could be a problem over here, because till here it is fine. Only when we are performing a where class, so we are having a issue. So if you want to check, you can just simply comment here. Already we done this in the other session by taking out the select query. So there we are putting top 100, right? Let's see, by keeping all the respective columns, whether we'll be getting the result set or not without where clause. I'm just altering my store procedure and re-executing it. Still we are getting the data. So definitely the problem will be there at where class level. So now I'm not going to enable this where class. Let's just see whether this function is giving the result set or not. That is very important. So let me pass it over here, the function. Or we can do one thing, you can simply keep the function over here and re-execute your function. And one more thing, I just wanted to tell one more point here. So as I need to see the result set of this function by passing a parameter, so unnecessarily my select query also getting executing here, right? So what you can do is, there are two ways. Either you can comment this whole select query, because sometimes in the real time, if the select query is taking 20-30 minutes, you have to wait almost 30 minutes to get this result set. So this is not required for us, right? So we need to know the result set of this function. So what you can do is simply you can keep it, you can just comment the above session, this above select query, and then run only this select query by passing a parameter by executing your store process. Or else you can also do one thing, just take out this query into top before this select statement, and then keep return statements. So when you put return statement, just it will return this result set, and it will not go to the next step. It will come out of the session, right? So that is how a store procedure will act. Now we can save almost 30 minutes without executing this query. Immediately we'll get this result set. Yeah. So this is how we can save our time while debugging a store procedure. So let me do in this way, or you can also comment this one. Either way you can go as your wish. So let's see whether my function is returning any result set or not. So if you see, it's not returning any result set. So which means there will be a problem with function. Yeah. So now what I can do is, let's open the function code and we'll see. And also let me do one more thing. Let me pass multiple values here and see whether we'll get the result set or not. So let me pass clothing, and then also I'll pass components. I'm passing 3. Let's see whether it will be giving results set or not. Yes, it is giving. Yes. So if you see, it is giving bikes information, clothing information, but it is not, now it is not giving components. So earlier when I'm passing bikes, it is not giving bikes information. But when I'm passing 3 values, it is not giving the components. Let me pass the next thing, accessories, and we'll see. Okay, now it is giving bikes, clothing, and components, but not accessory. So every time what is happening, one parameter value is missing. Okay, so maybe there might be a logic which is already missing inside the function. Let's go and check. So let me also put in another way. Let me pass only accessory and see whether it will give me or not. No, still it is not giving. So which means what our understanding is, when I'm passing single value, it's not giving any result set. When I'm passing more than one value, the last value is not getting in the output. Apart from that, everything is coming. So let's go and check your store procedure and see what exactly, sorry, not store procedure, it will be a function, table valued function. So just check your whole logic exactly. So see, generally we cannot debug a store like a function like a store procedure. So what you can do is either you can able to create this as a store procedure and debug. Otherwise, if you are good at functions and all or writing this logic, just go and check. Yeah. So now this input string we are passing multiple values, and this is the separator, and it returns the output variable, and we'll see one by one. So now they are declaring a position, and also what they are trying to do is the separator. The separator, let's see what exactly it has been written in our store procedure. So the separator is always comma, and the category name, let me take multiple values here, or single value I will take for an example. Now here I'll pass single value into with the quotes, and then my separator is comma. Now what exactly my select say? So let's see what exactly it will be giving. So it will be giving 0. So which means there is no commas in this accessories because it's not a multiple values. Okay. So now my position is 0. Now see what will happen. See, when the while loop, what they have written is if 0 not equals to 0, if 0 not equals to 0, it's a false condition because 0 equals to 0, right? Now what will happen? This logic will not get executed. It will come out of the loop. If you see, someone has commented this line. So what exactly it is doing is insert into the table variable and select input string. So which means whatever it is storing is storing or passing from this input string, exactly it should get insert into the output variable. But it is might be someone has commented this line. So because of that, that value is not inserting and we are not getting any results. This is for a single value. Let's go and check for multiple values what exactly it's happening. Let's comment it again and let's go back to multiple values. Let's say I'm passing both bytes and then accessories. So when I'm passing like this, we are not getting the right hand side value, always only one value. So now if I pass the values like this, let's see how the logic has been written inside a function. So now for an example, here I'll be passing multiple values. So when it checks the comma position, obviously one comma is there. So the comma position is 12. Now this condition is true because 12 not equals to 0. Now it will come into the loop. So by using the logic, what it will do is it will select before comma whatever value it has been by using a substring, and it will get insert into the table. Yeah. Then after it will replace this entire string along with comma as well. So now what is the left out value here is, so this value. So so basically what exactly this function will do is it will take each and every value before comma, then first it will replace until comma, then the left out values it will try to insert into the table. Now what happens? Accessories are inserting into table variable, then it replaces the entire thing. So now it has been replaced like this. Again, whatever set statement we have written, the same set statement we have written over here as well. So in my input string, the value is now bytes. Now when it checks the comma position, there is no commas, the value will be 0. Now this condition is false. Again, it has to come out of the loop. In my input string, now value will be bytes, right? That bytes has to insert into a table variable, but this line is commented. So the whole problem here is because of this insert statement and the select statement. As this is not exist, so my procedure is not giving a proper result set. So even for single value or multiple values, this comment session should be enabled so that the procedure will give proper results. So what I did is, let me do Control Z. I don't want to hard code any values here, and then I'll just comment out this line and execute it. So I have corrected. So now we thought that there is a problem in the procedure, but actually there is a problem inside the function which is used in the procedure. So it will happen definitely in the real times. So inside a function, a procedure, if you call multiple functions or a store process, maybe there could be a problem. So you have to go and check each and everything. So now let's see before executing this select query, because the select query, let's assume it takes 30 minutes to give the result set. I just make sure that my function is returning all the values as a rows when I'm passing multiple values, so that we can save our time. So let's see, and when I'm passing multiple values here with comma separated, yes, I'm getting right now. Now when I'm passing clothing, yes, still we will be getting now. Now yes, we'll be getting. And also if if I pass all four parameter values with a comma separated, yes, we'll be getting. So which means these values will get passed to my subquery as a rows, and it will get filtered. Now let's remove this select statement now with along with return statement. Now obviously we have to remove this where statement as well, like we have to enable this where statement so that value will get passed. So after enabling, please try to alter the store further. People will try to, means people will forget to alter and they will keep on trying to execute. So whatever you are done the changes, it won't affect until unless you alter it. So when I'm executing it, see, now we'll be getting all the accessories, bikes, clothing, components information. Now let's also check for one or two test cases, like if I pass only one value, whether I will be getting or not. Yes, it is getting filtered only accessories. Yes, I'm getting the values. Let me also pass only bikes and we'll see. So let me execute this. Yes, I'm getting only bikes information. Let's also check whether we will be getting for multiple values. So let me pass clothing and then just check. Yes, then you can include all other values as well. So like that, you need to do test cases for each and every input value, because maybe when you're passing bulk of values, it might be working, and somewhere one value it's not giving any result set. So that point of time you need to pass value by value and check whether really it is presenting in the table or not, or somewhere missing in the joins or wherever it is. So this is how we can able to easily debug, so by going line by line. And this is part one. So this is a simple example which I am giving. So in the next video, maybe I'll try to go and take a bigger example, and will show you many tricks how we can able to debug a store poser, and how we can able to easily like achieve our result set without errors and all. Yeah, thank you watching for my video. Stay tuned for more videos.